All right, lawmakers from both sides of the aisle are calling for legal action to be taken against Wikileaks and its founder, Julian Assange, after releasing thousands of classified documents. Now, yesterday, Attorney General Eric Holder promised the DOJ will prosecute if any violations of U.S. law are uncovered during the criminal probe. But some say the Obama administration is not doing enough. Former Alaska Governor Sarah Palin wrote on Facebook yesterday, quote, "The latest round of publications of leaked classified U.S. documents through the shady organization called Wikileaks raises serious questions about the Obama administration's incompetent handling of the whole fiasco. Why was he not pursued with the same urgency that we pursue al-Qaeda and Taliban leaders?" So will Assange face any sort of punishment? Joining me now in studio with reaction, syndicated columnist, the one and only, never controversial, Ann Coulter. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Well, first of all, you're a lawyer, so let me ask you from the legal side of this. Because some people are pointing out, look, prosecutions involving legal classified information are difficult, they say, because the Espionage Act of 1917 is a statute that preceded Supreme Court cases that expanded First Amendment protections. Do you see that?
Yeah, forget that. You're talking to the New York Times or Eric Holder's legal advisors. He doesn't know what law that has been broken. I think he needs a better lawyer working for him. A number of federal laws have been violated, including transmitting defense documents. Eric Holder in New York Times, that would be 18 U.S.C. 793E, the acceptance of theft of stolen government property. There are a number of statutes that provide serious penalties, that one up to 10 years in prison. The first one on transmitting defense documents, you have to show that it harmed national security.
Here's what I don't understand.
I think that's undisputed. And will anything be done? By the way, you just quoted Eric Holder. No, Democrats are in the White House, so America's standing tall as usual. We're a helpless, pitiful giant. That's the way America stands when a Democrat's in the White House, because they will not do anything. Bush administration, the first one, they go after Noriega for drug laws. This guy is harming national security. Every single American citizen, and Eric Holder treats them like they're the Black Panthers.
5 months ago, 75,000 documents are released, including the names of 100 Afghans that are helping us privately identify Taliban leaders. So all their lives have been put in jeopardy.
Right.
Then a couple of times, last month before, 390,000 classified documents. Now all of a sudden there's outrage, because I think it was Ed Morrissey at Hot Air points out, because, oh, this embarrasses the Obama administration. This embarrasses Hillary Clinton. So the fact that people may die didn't motivate them, you know, in the early stages of this, when the guy, you know, telegraphed that he was going to release a lot more of these.
No, that's right. And these hundreds of thousands of documents, there's another prosecution you're leaving out of that, and that is Bradley Manning, the poster boy for Don't Ask, Don't Tell in the U.S. military, that apparently gave Wikileaks founder all of these documents. And if we're going to have to keep hearing about the poor Air Force translator who so wanted to serve his country but had to be released because he was gay, it cannot be forgotten that Bradley Manning is now the poster boy for Don't Ask, Don't Tell. He's the one who transmitted these documents. He's the one, according to the New York Times, allegedly he's the one. That's what he's on trial for.
Quoting the New York Times?
Yes, I am. So not on what laws have been violated, since they can't figure it out.
All right. But all right, let me look at the broader picture, which is the Obama administration. It seems to be taken on the air of like the Carter administration. In other words, incompetent, failure, weakness, you know, totally incapable of accomplishing anything of any significant success, either in economic policy, foreign policy, or any of these issues. You know, what does this mean for the long term, for the country? What does it mean for his presidency? Does he get it? Does he change? Does he pull a Bill Clinton on the country?
Well, it's very, very bad for all Americans. I mean, in addition to the informants you were describing in the first batch, some of the world leaders that are important to us in the war on terrorism have been cooperating with us. That's not going to sit well with the crazy Muslims they are ruling over. The crazy Muslims in their country and other countries, the president of Yemen, the king of Saudi Arabia, King Abdullah, that he's been so closely cooperating with us that he wanted to put chips in the detainees
in Gitmo.
Gitmo. I mean, that They have to rule over a population that includes a lot of crazy jihadists. And the fact that their cooperation is coming out now is incredibly harmful to every American citizen.
The King Abdullah, on the one hand, wants us to take out Iran's nuclear facilities. Yeah. They'd condemn us if we did it. And on the other hand, they're funding al-Qaeda and terrorist groups. So, you know what? I find that duplicity.
It's a nuanced royal system.
Is that what that is? By the way, speaking of the New York Times, do you remember when the ClimateGate emails came out? The New York Times actually said they were not going to publish them because, quote, they were never intended for the public eye, so they won't be posted here.
Right.
Well, these intended for the public eye?
Right.
No.
Well, by the way, under the law, 18 U.S.C. 793E, look it up, Eric Holder and New York Times, newspapers that publish any of this material, any that ends up being damaging to U.S. national security could be prosecuted just as well.
What do you think of Hillary wanting to know what medications that the Argentinian president was taking?
It sort of makes me happy that they actually care. They're doing something.
All right. Ann Coulter, good to see you.
Good to see you.
And